All right, welcome back, guys, and we are back again with the Gaming Station, the Next Level podcast. This is podcast episode 7. We are back and joined again with Mr. Patman and Mr. Patty for episode 7. I know it's been a while since we have recorded and posted an episode, but we've had a lot going on this last couple of weeks, including 4th of July. Also, hopefully everybody had a wonderful 4th of July out there. I know it's been like, as of this recording, almost a week and a half since 4th of July. But hopefully everybody was out there safe, wearing their masks, and staying healthy, please. And definitely wear those masks, guys, so we can get these numbers down here in the United States. Mr. Patman, how have you been, sir? How's everything going?
Oh man, it has been a wild 2 weeks, Chadimus. Looking forward to today's discussion topics because news has been big in the gaming industry lately. Lots to discuss, not enough time to discuss it, but it's been great. I've been busy. I'm glad that we took a week off for 4th of July. It was wonderful. I hope, again, all our listeners had a wonderful holiday, but I'm happy to be here.
Mr. Patty, what about you? How you been, sir?
Relaxing. Well, or at least I would like to say so. I mean, I went on vacation, but I can't think of that week period. I'm not going to lie. I'm glad to have water pressure and my bed again, so but yes. I'm ready for this podcast.
Awesome. So I know in episode 6, that seems like ages ago now, we definitely talked about and added a new segment called the Gaming News, where we pretty much each one of us go through and talk about stuff that we have noticed, either in relation to us or something that we have noticed to bring to you guys that maybe you guys didn't know, or just something that we've seen that might not have been actually out there publicly yet. And we wanted to go ahead and do that here again. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Patman, do you have any new news for in the gaming community?
Oh gosh, absolutely. So in the last 2 weeks, I know we got a big teaser for Halo Infinite, and kind of revealed some little details about what kind of antagonist to expect for the next entry in the Halo series. But even more so than that, we got the update that I believe. Check me on this, but I believe Xbox next big information drop, I think it's called Xbox, July 23rd, and people are expecting both a price reveal at that time and also more information on Halo Infinite, what it's going to look like, a possible trailer for the game, and any other major first-party games, what kind of content we're going to get, because we've gotten a lot of that from Sony.
Yeah, I'm not sure the name of it, but yeah, that'd be definitely good, because I know these consoles not releasing any information in their fight against who's gonna spill the beans first of what it's gonna cost, what's gonna be on it, etc., has been pretty trivial for all newer games coming out or newer systems. I know even Nintendo Switch is waiting to hear of what's going out so that they can release their stuff as well, and it kind of sucks, but I mean, maybe it'll be good.
Yeah, I mean it'll be nice to find out what it's actually going to cost, whether it's higher or lower than what we expect, so that we can start planning for how much we're going to have to shell out, because I know we're all going to want one. But aside from just that, speaking of cost, 2K announced recently that their games for next-gen consoles are going to cost $70 market price instead of $60. And that's been very controversial. Between the concept of 2K kind of being repetitive and the unjustified increase in price, many people are unhappy. I mean, Chad, I think you'll agree that 2K kind of is the same game every year. I mean, there's differences in statistics and players and little things, but the general mechanics of the game, it's still basketball.
Yeah, well, and the graphics
21 is still going to be the same.
Yeah, and it seems like they only slightly changed the graphics. I mean,
like it only barely gets better.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially for a next gen console. And you mentioned that Kobe Bryant is going to be on the cover of
Yeah,
and that's bold.
yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely a key player, very, very known name in the basketball scene. So, I mean, I think it's awesome, but at the same time, they've got a lot to live up to. The throwing him on the title is great, I think, and I know probably all the 2K players and basketball players alike are very happy, but that means they have a high standard to live up to. Like, this has got to be better than any other NBA 2K that has ever been.
Absolutely. I mean, if they don't live up to the idea of having Kobe on the cover, that'll plus. It's not like that's an easy game to make market improvements to then justify a $10 price increase. And $10 price increase isn't a huge difference. I mean, I look at the floor and I see floor. $60 is expensive for a game. $70 is, but people are also worried that that's going to lead to price hikes in many other games, and that's not unjustified. I mean, I've been waiting.
Setting a trend.
Yeah, exactly. Setting a trend. Eddie's right.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at video or pictures here that I'm showing up on the YouTube version, the video version of this podcast, and like all I see is 2K21 already trash. I mean, just the graphics of the game looks like it's still back in 2010.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I've seen.
I mean,
it's not living up to the $10 price increase on top of who they put on.
Yeah, that's crazy. What else you got for us?
I did have one more thing. I've been playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Oh, how you liking it?
I talked to Patty about this a little before pre-recording, but I like it so far. I'm basically a brand new fish in a brand new ocean, but I am still excited. I love the concept. I haven't played an Assassin's Creed since Assassin's Creed 3. So the games have changed a lot, but not, in my opinion, not in a bad way. I like what I'm experiencing.
Slightly more RPG elements.
Yes, but that's not a bad thing.
So, what do you think about Assassin's Creed Valhalla?
Good question. I'm excited. I mean, it's Norse, so obviously that's going to make it good, but because I'm now enjoying Assassin's Creed Odyssey, that makes me more excited for Valhalla. Although I am seeing online lately that not everybody's excited with how Valhalla's looking.
Do you mean like graphically or
not graphically, gameplay wise?
Gameplay. Okay.
Yeah, what I just read some headlines. Take this with a big grain of salt, but I've seen a few articles about like the gameplay not being that much different than Assassin's Creed Odyssey and it not expanding on the concepts that well. But graphically, on the other hand, all I've heard is good things. Amazing so far. So,
yeah. Of what I've seen, it kind of looks like a God of War, kind of like
a little bit
the graphics.
I mean, it's Norse, so.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even the front cover looks like something you would see on that. But then again, I liked Vikings. It was a TV show I watched many years ago, and it kind of reminds me of that too. So I'm kind of excited to at least try this game. I haven't really played. I have Black Flag. I don't think I've played Origins or the one you mentioned. What is the one you're playing right now? Odyssey. Yeah, and Odyssey looked really good too. So
I think that'd be interesting though. Like, you brought up a really good like idea though to me, like the fact that you said it kind of reminded you of God of War.
Yeah.
That different perspective in the game. You know, like the way they display how you fight and everything. The view you have. That I think that'd actually be very interesting.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of weird that it's literally Assassin's Creed Valhalla. The Vikings really weren't known for their stealthiness. I mean, they just destroyed you.
Yeah.
I mean, these are these huge burly
historically,
men. Yeah.
Historically, they were highly aggressive, not patient strategists.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I can see them like spinning it in a way, you know, somehow coming up with like a hidden history to, I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Or,
Like,
I mean,
or
with
like,
Odyssey, in the first 20 minutes, I played as Leonidas, and it's not like the Spartans were known for stealth either. They were a similar, like, very militarily oriented culture and very aggressive in terms of combat. So, and they made that work. So,
yeah,
who knows?
True.
making him a mercenary instead of a Spartan, basically.
The one thing I do like about the Assassin's Creed series, the one thing I don't like, I guess I should say, was the fact that they just put them out so quickly. The fact that I do like is when I played the very first one, they talked about, you know, they wanted to progress through the story through the years, and I like that they're doing that. And they're kind of like pinpointing those very pointful, very like Valhalla was Vikings. Before that was what the one you're playing right now, Odyssey.
Is Greek.
The Greek, yeah, and then the one before that was Black Flag
Egyptian.
with the pirates and Egyptians. Yeah, so I like how they're doing that, which makes me think about the future of, you know, getting into the modern ages. I think I would love to see something like that in the future. But I like that they're doing that. Just the fact that they're coming out with these games so quickly is kind of like off-putting to me.
Agreed.
And I think that's a big thing that has always been in the media over the last, like, after 2, it was just like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you know, and then all these other ports to the PS Vita. What was it? The 3DS had some games on there. I don't know. That was kind of off-putting, that they were putting out so many games and so many other types of games that are Assassin's Creed. They had Brotherhood, and a couple other ones. It was just crazy how many came out.
Unity, yeah.
Oversaturation, I think, was the biggest thing.
Agreed.
Like, but yeah, that's cool. Definitely a good one there, because I would love to play Valhalla. So, but of course I'm gonna have to play the other one first. So, Patty, what about you? What do you got for us today?
Well, I think since we're kind of talking about new stuff, I think I'll just start with the Far Cry release that came out today. Actually, the trailer came out today, as well as the now new wonderful news that the next Far Cry will be coming out soon. Excited! I love every single one. 3's still probably my favorite.
I'm one of those people that have never played, so.
Same with Patrick.
Yeah, that makes two of us, Chad.
Oh, okay.
I have not played Far Cry either.
Oh, wow. So yeah, I don't know anything about Far Cry. So tell us, what do you think?
Well, it's kind of like Witcher 3 had a baby with COD and Doom.
Jeez.
So
yeah, it's hybrid.
It's a big like open world almost every time. You basically you're always fighting against you're almost always in a resistance, fighting a dictator or drug lord, luck and yada yada. And this newest one looks pretty awesome. I'm very excited. The main villain from Breaking Bad, he's the villain in this one, if you know who I'm talking about.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So is it kind of like Ghost Recon?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, okay.
I definitely get that vibe, except it's in a first person.
Okay.
If you haven't seen the trailer, I recommend watching it.
Actually, they are watching it right now. On YouTube. So if you guys are listening to this right now on any of the platforms, Spotify, Google, Apple, or Pandora, you guys can check the video out, or you can check it out obviously anywhere like IGN. But yeah, we're showing the trailer right now as we talk this on our YouTube video for the podcast. So, but yeah, I mean, this trailer has nothing to do with gameplay, but it looks pretty crazy.
it gives me the chills. Just like if you're listening to this man as he's talking, I don't know his name yet, but he's El Presidente. as he says in the trailer. And but like what he's saying, it kind of messes with my head because like he's like persuading this kid, which I believe to be his son. Oh yeah, it was his son. Basically into like his idealism of like what it is to lead like a dictator and everything. And I'm like, it's kind of convincing.
And he gave him a freaking grenade in the very beginning
Oh,
and pulled the pin.
It's to like give the kid an analogy of like what it is to rule the country that they live in. And it's crazy how he does. Like whoever wrote this, you're a genius. Like seriously, props to you. And like I said, I know Chad, you have it up on YouTube, but I don't know if they probably can't hear it. And you probably can't, but you're gonna want to listen to what this man has to say.
For sure.
It gave me the chills.
Yeah, it's giving me just chills just watching, especially with the way the world's going right now. This is very captivating. It's kind of crazy.
Well, that's about it for Far Cry 6. That's about it. It was just a leak. Other thing I wanted to talk about that's pretty big news, and I know, Chad, you've played a little bit of this game, but I don't believe Patrick's played any of it. Valorant. I don't know if you've heard, Chad, but recently it came out with a new skin bundle.
Yes.
And the skin is insanely expensive.
How expensive?
I believe the whole entire bundle is $250.
Yeah, I was gutted.
So wait, isn't that like isn't that the price of like the Xbox One X right now?
Yeah, see what I'm saying? Like the whole bundle is $250. Yeah, so the community of Valorant, or at least a big portion, is very mad. Although, surprisingly, I'm not. Only because I think a big portion of the Valorant community aren't CSGO players. That's basically what I think. That CSGO players are used to this. It's like a part of CSGO is the economy of skins. And like their value in the game. And I personally, because I used to play CSGO, I saw this game immediately leave, area of like secondary income in the game.
Yeah. I mean, it is a free game. I could see skins coming out eventually, but when I heard about this as well, I was just like, okay, $95 for inanimate skin in a game that is free to play. I just don't know. And the fact that, I mean, cover your ears if you're under the age of 16 or 18, whatever. There, I hear that the trigger is in the area of the genitals. So yeah.
I don't think that really matters. If I'm being honest.
I mean, literally the trigger is in that area. So.
I mean, I get that, but like.
You're holding a dragon in your hand.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the Spectre. Yeah, that's yeah.
It's like, oh my god. I mean, it's pretty crazy though that they would. Yeah, but yeah, $95 and then $250 for
the whole bundle.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, but like I said, it's part of like the economy of the game. So
yeah.
Like I already know two of my friends, they've already bought like one of my friends, he bought the $95 skin, and my other friend, he bought the whole bundle. And
oh, it's already out?
Yeah, it's already out. And the price didn't change. But there's like some like there's already websites, a website I believe about to come up here soon. Kind of like CSGO skins.gg, stuff like that. They're gonna do the same thing with Valorant, and there's already the fact that the bundle that came out is exclusive, so it'll only be in Valorant, like in the game, to buy for I believe a month and a half, maybe two, basically until the next patch. And so whenever that gets taken off, these skins are going to be even more.
Yeah.
So like my friends are like basically saying, yeah, we're gonna buy them now and then sell them after a few patches have gone by, because then they become limited. Like only so many were bought and sold. There's only so many out there. So
Yeah. Oh,
it's
that's
a
crazy.
chance to make money if you think about it. Just like
Yeah.
you and Patrick doing your stocks and everything.
Yeah. I mean, guess that's an investment, but you're not going to make your money back.
Oh, they might.
Yeah.
Maybe not anytime soon. Like it'll probably take a little while, but I'm sure they will. If they decide to sell them, of course. They may not decide to.
Yeah. That's just an
Kinda,
investment.
yeah, into the game.
But then again, I mean, look how many people spent money on all these other Farmville or Fortnite skins, just stuff like that. People spent thousands of dollars on these things. So I guess if you're passionate about a game, then why not?
True. Very true. Well, that's about it I got. So, what about you, Chad?
Well, for me,
what's on your...
I know the last couple of weeks we've been talking, or the last couple of podcasts and weeks, because it's obviously one of the biggest games in the world, and we're all waiting for it to be released. Originally, it was supposed to be released in April, and pushed back to again and again to now November. CyberPunk 2077. I don't know. I don't even remember what we talked about last in the last podcast, but features being removed. I know we talked about this, the two or three of us, the last time after the last podcast, about customization of vehicles is not going to be a thing. Customization of your apartment is not going to be a thing. I believe the reasons for the apartment part is because a lot of the cutscenes are going to be in your apartment, so that'd be a lot of work on them, I guess.
Integrating customizability into a cutscene.
Yeah. Yeah, and for the car thing, I guess there was never going to be vehicle customization. There is custom vehicles in the game already, and that's pretty much what they were saying. So like you can find the same car, but it's going to be customized differently depending on who had it or where it's at, I guess.
So is it going to be like in GTA where you take it to the garage and then it becomes yours?
I don't know. They haven't really spoke upon that. I know you can drive anything that has wheels. I remember hearing about that. But as part of yours, I have no clue what's going to happen there. I know third-person cutscenes have been cut down to a very minimum. One of the main ones being the elevator scene. You're no longer in third person to immerse you into the game. Is the reasoning behind that. Wall running was one of the first things that was removed. I'm pretty sure we talked about that before, but those are some of the things for the CyberPunk 2077, and of course, no multiplayer. So,
well, and I think what they're trying to achieve with the third party to first party changes is they're trying to make you feel like your character is you, and less like you're playing a character in a world, you know? And like in The Witcher 3, you're playing as the Witcher. In Skyrim, you create your character and you can switch between which perspective you want, but you name your character, you feel like you're playing a character in a world. Whereas I think with consistent first person, they want you to feel like this is you.
So I was going to say they're trying to make it as VR, un-VR game as possible, but I just looked up. So I think they're going to implement this game as VR as well. I don't know. It seems like what they're doing is making it a VR game, but not actually VR. But when looking into this, it looks like that might be a thing.
I don't like that, personally.
Well, I mean, it's going to be like, all the other games are. You don't have to play it VR, but you can play it VR.
No, not necessarily that. I mean, talk about they're trying to make it feel like you're in the game. I mean, don't get me wrong. I feel like everyone wants to feel like they're in the game. What I mean by that is like the fact that like I'll be wall running. Like, I don't want to feel like I'm in there. I want to feel like
VR definitely. I'm not surprised that they're doing a VR thing and making it eventually VR compatible, because I mean, come on, they're changing the camera angles to be first person, and that is designed so that you'll feel even more immersed.
Yeah.
It makes sense that you would then also add VR compatibility to be even more immersed so that when you play, it feels like you're in that game. I don't know how I feel about that either, Patty, personally. I think that on the one hand, that could be cool if you enjoy it, but then if you're not going the full 10 yards and doing VR and the camera angles, like if you don't do everything, that takes away from playing the game not in VR, if it's geared towards that perspective.
Yeah. I was to say, I don't know if they're not really gearing it for VR. They're gearing it for the immersitivity, if that's even a word, for you. Yeah, for you to play the game, like Grand Theft Auto. But you're not going to be able to go. Yeah, right. They're not. They're making it like a realistic game. They want you to feel like you are that character, and like he said, like you are playing as this android or whatever you want to call it. So, and I kind of see this, and I would love VR for this game. I couldn't play it because that is just holy crap. Like that's a lot of movement. But looking at Half-Life Alyx and stuff like that, which are successful VR games recently, that would be awesome. Obviously, the driving is still going to be third person, but yeah. But I think that's cool. I think at least having VR as a capability would be cool. Especially being this is 2020 going into 2021. If it's not VR, then it's kind of like so, but other than that one, the only other thing I had is I was able to play a new game called Hyperscape. I was able to join the beta by waiting in Twitch streams and finally getting a code. The game itself is actually really great concept. It's very hard. That would be the only thing that sucked about it. Like I waited, I think 2.5 days to get a code, meaning people are already playing it for 2.5 days. So I jumped in, and a buddy of mine was able to get a code as well, and we both jumped in and just died immediately, multiple times. Like it was literally respawn, die, respawn, instantly. Die, and it's a battle royale. So the game itself looks great. The concept is great. It's pretty much Valorant, but open battle royale. Like the guns are obviously more futuristic. There's a lot more different perks or hacks, as they call them in the game. But I think it's a really good game. It's just
hacks.
Maybe they call them hacks because you can like upgrade your stuff. If you get the same weapon twice, you can actually merge it together or whatever they want to call it. You can do it up to 4 times, and it makes the gun more powerful, etc., etc. Kind of like your basic white weapon, your green weapon, your blue weapon.
That's
your
exactly
purple.
what I was thinking. Like, that sounds like the equivalent of the rarity system.
Which I think is a kind of a cooler way, because you're not, well, then again, they also add fully hacked guns as well, but in hotspot areas. Like if you're going to drop into quote unquote tilted towers, where there's going to be awesome loot, that's that same sense. But I guess the loot is random, but I know that still, like if you go to a certain area, it's going to have better loot than this other area. So I don't know. It's cool. It's a great game. I think they need to put maybe a level cap or even a practice course eventually, because I had no clue what I was doing. I mean, you could wall run, you could fly, you can get into a circular ball and bounce away from a battle. I mean, there's a lot of cool aspects to the game. It definitely is going to have a spot in the esports scene and the competitive scene.
I would imagine.
But like I said, 2.5 days later, I finally was able to play it and got utterly destroyed. Because I wasn't taking notes while I was watching it. I was playing and streaming other stuff. So it's definitely fun, but hard. What was the other game that we decided to throw into a main topic here today?
Oh, Star Wars Squadrons?
It sure was.
Yes. We are, the three of us, I would say, are all very excited for Star Wars.
When you guys first mentioned it to me, I was kind of iffy because I don't like flying games that much.
And it's EA.
But it's
That makes me iffy.
yeah. But after watching the trailers and stuff, I'm just like, oh wow, I've actually seen this. I didn't know the name of it, and I was like, Star Fox, this is awesome. So
Yeah,
that's
and the first person concept I think makes it also feel a little bit different than other flight games. Not that it's the first flight game to do a first person thing, but it can still be considered a step in a different direction for flight games, especially because Battlefront 1 and 2 really popularized flight combat in the Star Wars fantasy realm, so to speak, or science fiction realm rather. And I think that them making it first person, making it VR compatible for PlayStation and PC, eventually producing a joystick and throttle that will be an additional peripheral for PC. I think those are steps to make a really high quality flight combat game.
Yeah, and the other thing too is when I watched it, and I'm showing the trailer right now also, it looks like a DLC for No Man's Sky, like 100% when I'm watching this.
A little bit, you're right.
Everything about it is what I like. I was like, and we've been playing that, so it like the way that the ship goes into the docking station, the way it flies around the asteroids, everything about it reminded me of No Man's Sky, and I love that No Man's Sky. I love going up there and fighting the battles and fighting other people. So that is one thing that I'm like, well, I don't usually like flying games, but after doing that on No Man's Sky, I would love to try this game.
See, and I'd want to get the joystick for it too.
Oh God, that would be so cool.
Some serious immersion.
I mean, is EA gonna finally make a game that doesn't have, payable DLC? Or sucks. Yeah, right. That would be so nice.
I mean, I'm cough Battlefront 1 or 2, Anthem. Any EA game in the last 7 years.
Too.
Yeah. So. It's just crazy. The other thing I wanted to talk about was just to briefly touch, because if we didn't, what kind of gamers would we be? In the streaming community or the streaming world, Dr. Disrespect is gone. He's been banned from Twitch. Mixer's closing down on the 22nd. A lot of places have, like, one of my main streaming sites has Mixer refugee like areas, and they're giving people basically better shots at becoming known on that platform, because going from a platform to a new platform is impossible. It is so hard. I can definitely vouch for that. So the Disrespect disappeared, Ninja disappeared, and Shroud disappeared for a brief time there. I know Ninja has resurfaced on YouTube once. I don't know if you guys have heard anything around this as well.
I have not.
And that's pretty much it. Like, I mean, it's just a big question of what happened to Dr. Disrespect. He's one of the biggest Twitch streamers in the world. Like, he's super entertaining. I mean, it might not be everybody's cup of tea, but you can't deny how entertaining his famous his gig is. Like, he literally dresses up as Dr. Disrespect and plays a character the entire time on stream, which is impossible. That is a lot of work, and he barely breaks character. It's just awesome. And right now he's just missing. Basically, he put out a report that he thanked everybody and gave them a firm handshake or whatnot, and nobody's heard back from him. So, and Twitch hasn't made any statements. It's just really weird. All we know that's kind of weird is that all the people that have subbed to him have gotten refunds. So, which is not normal. It is not normal. I think that's only
very weird.
Of what I've seen, that's only happened once or twice before in the history of Twitch.
Exactly. That's very odd.
Yeah.
Question.
Answer.
Because like I said, I've been gone on vacation. I didn't have much of a signal, but I've definitely been catching up. I do not know why he got banned. Nobody
does. That's the question. That's what's really confusing. Nobody knows why he got banned.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what's so crazy about it. And this has been 3 weeks now. I think if not even longer, maybe. Like, he was streaming and said, and pretty much ended stream. He was streaming Roblox, but just ended streaming, and then he just disappeared. So I mean, he's not gone, but nobody knows what he's doing or where he's at.
But
and
then he got banned from Twitch.
Yeah, and the same thing happened with Shroud and Ninja. They were both on Mixer. They were paid to go over to Mixer, which this is old news for most people that are watching this right now. But Ninja did a test stream on YouTube and did a full stream. I think either the next day or a couple days later. Shroud, on the other hand, he's been heard playing with other people, but when it comes to streaming, I don't think he hasn't been anywhere. Obviously,
they kind of don't need to right now. Like, they made so much money off that.
Well, yeah, I mean, he made 10 million, Shroud did, and Ninja made 30 million. So that's a lot of money. Like, that's a lot of money. And I know there's a lot of speculations, which I'm not going to mention, about why Disrespect disappeared, but everybody wants to know. And I feel I would not feel like a gamer if I did not mention that on this podcast. And being a streamer myself and a follower of all three of these people, only recently Ninja because I can't stand Fortnite, but it's just really crazy. Like it's kind of like
that's wild.
In real world news, it's like Tom Cruise disappears. He stops doing movies.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, why? Where did he go? What is he doing? Like, it's something like that in the streamer sense. And streaming is now the new entertainment, especially with the world issues that we have. Everybody's staying at home, so I mean, it's just crazy. Other than that, the only thing I've been playing really is we've been playing Generation Zero, which is a great game that's on all platforms besides Switch, and it's really good. It's a crazy mech survival game. You can play up to 4 friends, I believe. Super great game. And then yesterday I started playing Mountain Blade. No, Blade and Soul. It's a MMORPG that I've never played. It's actually pretty cool. So, what have you guys been playing, Patman?
Assassin's Creed lately. Past couple days. Besides that, I think I played some No Man's Sky earlier in the week, although I've kind of fallen off that wagon a little bit. It's still a wonderful game, but Patty and I talked about this earlier. You play a bunch, and then you kind of get burnt out a little, because it's just a very large amount of content to peruse through, and it's getting a little grindy at the moment, so I decided to take a break and play other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been playing solo, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I played late a couple nights.
Yeah, which I think is the issue with those kind of games. At first, it's really cool, and then it just kind of slowly drops down. Same with Minecraft. I enjoy it, and I'll jump back into it a couple weeks later, and I'll enjoy it just as much. But then that slow curve down when you have nobody to play with, it's like, why am I doing all this?
Right.
But when you have people on there, it's like, oh, well, we're building something together.
Exactly. It does have that. It's definitely better in groups, I think.
Yeah.
Amen.
Besides that, though, I don't know how old this game is. I know it's not real old, but it may be a couple years or so. I've been playing Recore, which is I would describe it as an RPG, but also adventure. A Legend of Zelda type game, if you will. Although not quite to that scale. I enjoy it thoroughly, but with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, that kind of derailed it. I almost play Recore in between other big games.
Yeah, I would definitely classify it as adventure. I get more of a Lara Croft mech vibe though. Like
also,
it's just like it's a great game. I kind of felt repetitive after getting my third mech, or I think it was my third mech, or your upgrade, or whatever you want to call it. But it was a really fun game. I was very surprised about how much fun I had with that game.
Interesting. I'm looking at it right now. I think I've seen this game before, and I've wanted to play it. How much is it?
It's free with Game Pass.
It's free with Game Pass.
Okay, better question. Can I get it on PC?
Yes.
Windows 10?
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And if you have Game Pass, it'd be free on PC.
Yeah, so Game Pass Ultimate is the one where you get the games for free and you get your online, which unlocks the Windows 10 version of all the games that have Windows 10. That's what I have, which is great. So,
and that's what I have as well. But yeah, it's a very unique game. I remember when I first saw a trailer for it, an announcement for it, a long time. I remember being excited for it, but then I never heard about a release or like when it actually happened.
yeah.
If it just like it slipped through the cracks on my radar or something, but I rediscovered its existence like just a month and a half ago or so, and I was like, oh, this is going to be the game that I want to play, and it is fun.
Yeah.
But it's not. It definitely doesn't have that like I have to keep playing with feel.
Yeah, that is a good thing about that game too. Is like you can pick it up when you want to, versus which could be a bad thing too. But it's yeah. I mean, it depends on how you look at it, but it's not a game.
Depends on the reason you're putting it down.
Yeah, it's a good game to just pick up and travel through, basically. And to be honest, it actually kind of reminds me of a solo Apex Legends. Now that I think about the gameplay, the way it plays is very similar, and it's the whole mechy feel to it.
Yeah, the mechy feel, and also I definitely get the Tomb Raider vibe, but that's more based on the main characters.
Yeah, and the adventure. Yeah,
and the adventure itself. Yeah,
it's got a lot of puzzles that you have to. Was it puzzly? I can't even remember now if it has a lot of puzzles you have to complete. To be honest, I started thinking about the Tomb Raider having the puzzles, and I was trying to compare it. I know it's got.
Well, it's definitely easy combat, and there are some puzzles. I think right now I'm still pretty early on in the game, and it just really opened up to be less handholdy. Because through the first little piece, it's definitely like telling you where to go and what you got to do, but it just opened up the rest of the map, and I actually really enjoy that because it's feeling less linear, and there's lots of side quests. Yes, it's more. I wouldn't describe it as open world.
Okay.
I wouldn't describe it as open world because the map isn't as big as an open world game.
Yeah.
But I would describe it as open world as in you don't have to keep going through the main quest. You can go explore and find things, and there's more dungeons you can do that are
dungeons
separate. Yeah, it's like that's why I said it's like Legend of Zelda, because it's not a dungeon necessarily in that sense, but it is dungeons in that you go inside like a mechanical facility, and there's various rooms and a boss, mini boss, that kind of thing. Like it has those elements too. But I would describe it as open world in that you can do any side quest at any time in that sense. Like there's no you have to do the main quest. I will say though, I briefly noticed that some of the dungeons are locked behind having gathered enough materials of various things which you gain from progressing and exploring. So some of the more difficult dungeons I can't just walk right into. But that's probably
a good game mechanic to stop you from just walking into your death.
Exactly. It's not like Skyrim where you can go in pretty much anywhere and the game scales with your level and skill. It's not like that. It's more like a set difficulty and then explore, and there's barriers to keep you from doing something you're definitely not. But you can definitely put a lot of time into the game. I know I figured that out because despite the way the game kind of seems like it's not going to be a long playthrough, after playing just a little bit and realizing how long it takes to get certain cores in the game, I found a dungeon on my map that's blocked for needing you need at least 75 cores. And I was like, wow, you must be able to put a lot of time into the game. 75 doesn't seem like a lot comparatively, but in this particular game, 75 is
an extreme amount.
Yeah, and
that would take time.
And each core or each core or each mech, I don't remember. You need a different one to get into different areas and to do different things, which is kind of like Zelda in a sense because you're different items, but it's pretty neat.
Traverse new areas.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
And there is a good story to it too. It's not like right in front of you type of story, but it's got like a semi there story. Like the guy, I don't know if you've met the guy in the ship yet. Probably not.
No, I have not progressed the story.
Oh yeah, you just wait till you get to the ship. That's where like the story kind of starts to understand.
Gotcha.
Like you can start understanding.
You start to get an idea of where it's going.
Yes, because it just throws you into the game. It doesn't really explain too much. So
no, there's not a lot of. It kind of gives you that like almost that science fiction vibe where you're thrown into a setting, and instead of them telling you here's the situation and then the story progresses, as you progress you realize what happened in the past.
Yep.
I kind of like those too.
Yeah,
it is kind of cool. That's definitely a game that I would actually suggest for most people to at least try, because it was just fun. It was a nice game to just jump into.
Oh yeah, and the gameplay controls are really easy. It's not a hard game by any means, so it's easy to jump in and out of it and pick it up right where you left off, because there's a lot of save points and there's plenty of fast travel options, so it's easy to just play a little and then stop.
Yep, agreed. Well,
might purchase it.
What would you guys like to see? What would you guys like to talk about next week when we do our next episode 8 thing? Do you guys want to go back into the new updates on the new systems coming out? I know Nintendo has released a few small minor things about their new Switch 2 or whatever they're thinking about doing. Obviously the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, which I can't believe I finally said that right, because it's so confusing since they already have an Xbox One X. But yeah, if you guys want to go into that more in depth next week, because hopefully they'll have more news, because I know as of right now they already have some things that they've updated. Obviously we're all waiting for this price drop and release, because there's so many games, there's so many things that are just like literally building up against a barrier, that barrier, once those price dates release, will come down, and then we'll get all this flood of information from everywhere, and
critique and audience reception and
24-hour podcast.
Seriously.
Are you guys going to be picking up either one of those?
Personally, no. I'm too big of a PC gamer. But any games that come out that are PC related, I expect to buy personally.
My current plan is 100% to pick up a series.
Yeah.
I think it will put me in the. Now I might catch a lot of rage from listeners for this, but I think it'll put me in the same league as PC players as it stands right now.
It will. That's even the PlayStation itself, their specs, which we went over I think in episode 4 or 5, those specs are unheard of, like for even a lot of people that have PCs. Those specs are out of this world for a console, and obviously they're coming out with a 30 series here soon for PCs, which is going to be well over $1,000 just to get that one graphics card or whatnot. So yeah, that the fact that you can spend hopefully under $600 and get everything in one is amazing. So
and that's significantly more.
Yeah, and I agree with Patty as well. Like, PC definitely overrules, just because customization, they didn't even release anything about customizing or being able to customize these systems like we had talked about. I think in our first or second, we were hoping that customization was going to be a thing, and they never even mentioned that, which I think is crazy in the world we live in now, because I don't want to have to buy an Xbox 7 in 5 more years. I think
Agreed.
I think that's crazy.
Agreed.
And then the price is raising on all these games as well, which I can agree in some sense. But like, if it's anything like Nintendo, I don't agree. Like, and then Skyrim, like, you can't keep selling Skyrim for $60.
Exactly.
I don't like that part of it. But as long as the price is right, not making a joke or anything, as long as the price is right, like, it's fine. But if you're going to throw out a game that's 12 years old and throw the same price tag as a brand new game out there, that's just crazy. So,
well, and I definitely think that we definitely can't expect to then want to pay another $400 or $500, whatever it's going to be by then, for another console at that point. So PCs are definitely more customizable, and I get that. I also like the VR compatibility that PCs and even PlayStation has. Xbox has no option. I don't like
in
that.
a sense, you're right. But the reason why they didn't is because it's Windows. It's Windows 10.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
they don't need that functionality on Xbox because all of their VR games are on PC. And I mean,
Also
now
true.
with this new console, it is possible. Like, I guarantee you there is a capability of VR. If they didn't put that in there, then that's just dumb. But I have a feeling there is plans on doing that because they're way more than powerful enough to do VR. So, and I mean, I think the thing with PlayStation, the reason why they have VR, what other system can you play a PlayStation game on?
Also true. You make a good point that because Microsoft owns Xbox, but also owns Windows, and thus the basis for the PC platform.
Yeah. Like, because I mean, if you put in like what games can you play in VR? If you put that out there, like what actual games can you play in VR? You'll get a couple on PlayStation, but most of those other games are already on PC. Exactly. So, and I think that was a big selling point for PlayStation as well. It's like, oh, we have VR. It might not be the best VR. It actually is probably the worst, but it's still VR and it's still good because it's VR. Who doesn't want to be virtually?
It's still functional. Like
it is. Yes, exactly. It is. It was pretty much the Wii with goggles on. Like the Wii was so revolutionary when it came to the games that it had was so amazing. I mean, I remember buying Red when it first came out as that shooting game. Now I think a game that would be familiar to it would be that one with the guns and the knives. I can't even think of the name of it. Red Hot is kind of like, but that was on Wii like 10 years ago. There was a game very similar to that, obviously not as revolutionary and inclined of the VR, but at least it was a game that was crazy out there. So yeah, it is weird that Xbox hasn't released any information about VR, but like I said, Windows 10 is VR capable, and I think the future of VR is there. It's just people have to try it, have to want it, I guess.
I think they need to lower the price on equipment. I think that's one of the main things to stop them.
Yeah, $1,000 for a almost top of the line VR system. You're still not going to get your index with that though. You're gonna have to pay another $200 and $300. And a lot of people aren't, they don't know about VR. Like they know what VR is, but they don't know what goes into VR. And it's like it is very powerful. Like you have to have a very powerful machine to run VR.
So you have to think about the computer too.
Yeah, and if you want to stream it, good luck. You're going to spend about $4,000 on PC. And I mean, you can probably buy a PC for $1,200 that's VR, what do they call it, VR compatible. But that doesn't really mean too much. It doesn't mean you're going to be able to play Half-Life Alyx or the new Walking Dead game. It means you're going to be able to play the basic VR chat or something like that. So, because I was really surprised when my computer could play a little bit higher of a VR game, but then when I went to go stream it, it was like, nah, bro. So, yeah, and I have almost a $3,000 PC. So that's just crazy. Now these new consoles, yes, they both could easily play VR. So hopefully Microsoft will take a note on that and do something VR on their system. At least allow.
And the Series X will be more full. So hopefully whatever technical limitations they may be experiencing with the Xbox One and its compatibility with VR might go away with the Series X.
Yeah, I just hope they do something because I want Xbox to come out triumphant over PlayStation just because of the multiplayer aspect. But either way, I'm going to get both systems. Like, I mean, it might have taken me almost 5 years to get the PlayStation 4, but I did it. I haven't played it yet, but I did it. And I'm a collector, so I'm obviously going to buy whatever. I'm not going to buy it in the very beginning because I'm not going to play it. I literally, the only thing that got me to buy the PlayStation 4 Pro was Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I haven't played it because it's not what I expected it to be. So...
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I think that wraps it up for me.
Yeah, I think me as well. Hopefully, we can get some more news on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X coming up for this next episode of the Gaming Station podcast. Patty, anything else from you, sir?
So we're having a regular conversation about our week, how we're doing, how's it been going.
Yep.
Give
Perfect.
us a chance for you guys to learn about us.
Agreed.
Outside of just the games we play.
Yeah. Basically, it'd be the gaming station and the cast. So.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much, everybody over there on YouTube watching this video version, everybody on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and Pandora, if they ever approve our podcast, which should be this week coming up. Thank you guys so much. Hit that follow button, download the podcast, guys, subscribe to the channel. Any information you guys need will be down in the descriptions of those. We appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for supporting the podcast and hanging out with us and coming back every week to get more nonsense from us. But thank you guys so much again. And the Gaming Station, we are signing off.
Signing off.
Well, whatever.